Alrighty guys, you've been asking for another moneymaker and I did find one with the new update, so sorry to shock you in advance. Don't hate him, it's me. I'm causing all the problems. Alrighty, for starters, you will need to have the Skull Cavern unlocked so that you'll need at least 83,000 gold before that. So you can just come to quests under Community Center of the Vault. You just need to, submit all these monies and you'll get yourself a Skull Cavern teleporter. And the reason why you need that is to get the prismatic shard. Now, how you get the prismatic shard is when you're just mining in the Skull Cavern, you're going to get Omni Geodes or, the node blocks if you go further down enough, and you have a chance of getting those. And when you get a bunch of them, what you can actually do is come to get to the extractinator, which you can get from the blacksmith bundle or 12,000 gold, but you can just shift, right click, and it'll do a whole stack for you. So let's see if we actually even get lucky. Looks like I did. There is some, but it's getting deleted. So one stack did give me I think 3 of them or something. But anyways, with that, you need to make yourself the fletching table, which is just 3 flint, some planks around with that prismatic shard in the middle. You can either use the villager, or if you actually go ahead and buy yourself a phone from the, what is it? The banker guy, you can actually just place this thing down, and then you can just kind of if you place down whatever the things, you'll have it unlocked and then you have access to it. So you don't need a villager if you don't want it. What we're going to need from the villager later down the line will be these cinnamon trees. So how we're going to do this is you're going to need a market. It's just a chest with 4 zinc all around, and you get a market that lets you then go ahead and you can just scroll down or just type in on the top, ginger flower. And you're going to need a bunch of these. You could just plant them wherever you want. They work in the winter only, so be sure to find yourself a winter biome, or if you have it, greenhouse glass. It works on the first crop only, that's underneath it, and I mean, it's good. I'd rather just go to the winter biome, because again, since there is a permanent biome for it. For a whole chunk worth, I got 400 ginger, which equates to ginger crates, 44 of them. And how you just do that is just simply just put it all in there like so, and you get yourself the ginger crates. So again, how I said 44. You would then come here, you take those ginger crates, come to the exotic trader, go to the sapling guy, and then just buy it, and you'll get 2 cinnamon trees. Now with the cinnamon trees, you'll then place them down, and be sure to mine underneath, because every tree comes with at least 3 cinnamon fruit logs. The rest is kind of just garbage, so you can just kind of delete everything else if you want to. And what you'll have to do, because this is kind of dumb, because how cinnamon works is it has a growth of autumn and winter also. So you can't stick this in the winter, but I just recommend, I didn't know about this, I was told about it in the comments, but you can get yourself a shear. And then with the shears, you can go ahead and just break it, and you will get yourself the logs. Now you just go ahead and do this for both of your trees, or don't. It's just aesthetics, or if you just want to be more efficient. Because then you just come over here to a greenhouse thing, or again, winter, and just place them. And you do need to place a block underneath to be able to place it. And obviously yours things would not be growing as fast as mine currently. But you just do that, and then you can go ahead and just break the blocks underneath. So we're just going to clear this up real quick. So a few things. 1, it does take time. But 2, if you go to your K, press the letter K, under your farming tab, if you have the tree whisper where you get +2 fruits, this will make you a lot more money. So be sure you have this. Because by default, you'll get 1, but with this, we're getting 3 per log. So again, you would get 18 cinnamon when they're all done, and obviously they'll just keep regrowing back and forth. Now, the reason why I was mentioning why you may want to do it this way is there is an item called the cornucopia, which how you make that is you'll need a goat horn, sparkstone blocks, and a Neptunium coin, which is not actually that expensive to get. And it basically lets you harvest the fruit trees faster. Now how it works is as simple as you just right click, and it sends out an air wave, and it just knocks everything down. And as you can see, it still does work with that +2 from here. So very worthwhile investments. And imagine, right? You just put rows upon rows of this, and then you just, click it. Next up, we're going to need coffee. Now you can find coffee in the jungle biomes. It's as simple as you just hit it, and you're going to get coffee beans. Now these only work in springtime. You can hover over and see. So these, you'd have to put a greenhouse glass if it's not springtime. And then it's as simple as, you just plant it. So, you just get yourself a hoe, line it, and then like that. Be sure you make those iron sprinklers to keep it watered all the time. Now, what do we do with all this stuff? Well, you can go ahead and either make yourself a mincer, or if you guys know create, the millstone. The mincer is probably going to be way more early game. You'll just need access to the nether, and that's just 6 iron ingots, an iron block, a sturdy stone, which is just cobblestone, in just like 9 cobblestone, so that's all it is. And then that fire quartz. And this is what the fire quartz looks like in the nether, so you can have a chance of getting those things. And then you guys want to make a tea kettle. Now you could either make the tea kettle or the copper kettle. The only difference is just switch the iron ingots for copper. But you'll need a cauldron in the middle, the 4 iron or copper, and then earth crystals. And earth crystals, again, you can find those guys like in the surface or in the skull cavern. It just looks like that on the floor. And now then, it's up to you guys how you want to do this. I just make the composter for the glass bottles. You just go to him, scroll down. You can buy glass bottles for only 4 gold, very cheap. And all the stuff you're going to need is this. You're going to need blaze powder, which since we have the nether unlocked, it should not be a problem for you guys. You'll need water, you'll need the ground coffee, and ground cinnamon. Now how you get that, guys, is again, this mincer. So you'll just put your cinnamon in there. You see a whole stack, and then you just hold right click down, and you're going to get 4 ground cinnamon for every, bigger cinnamon, right? So this alone is already going to make you money, but we can make even more. And then again, stick your coffee beans in there and do the same thing. Of course, with the create setup, you can make this automated. So next up, you just put the stuff in here. So I did have some tips for you guys. Blaze powder heats 35% and it does go down. So whenever you're ready, then you would start heating it up because you could saw 35, now we're at 33. Water does not go down. The bucket gives you 50% water. Water bottle gives you 25%. And then the ground coffee in the ground cinnamon. So all we got to do is then grab our glass bottle, place your glass bottles over here. You'll place your blaze powder on this slot. You'll need water, and the buckets stay in. The glass bottles just delete. So there's something to think about that. Now be careful because the glass bottles, they will just keep deleting. Like even we're at 100%, we could put a water bottle in here and it just deletes. If you did figure out an automatic setup for just water to constantly refill the buckets, but you'll just put your ground coffee on the top left, the cinnamon on the top right, and you'll notice it doesn't work. Now that's because if we hover over this, go to here, we need a minimum of 50% heat for this thing to work. So we'll just grab ourselves blaze powder and just grab a whole stack. Now one more tip about that, it will auto fuel at 70%. So if you want to sacrifice 5% of the heat for the blaze, I would say that's still a worthy whatever thing. If we go just by 4 ground cinnamon, just one of those trees, right? If you didn't have the plus 2 for the tree thing, we can make 4 of these guys. Now, how much do you think it's worth? Any guesses? Chai tea is worth 2,643 gold. Now, you can make this better again by going up on this path, which you already are going to go. But we're going to make 15% more with this chai tea. And again, all we'll need then is a selling bin, which is just a chest and a trapdoor. Place that down, and then we can go ahead and just take this out real quick. And let's just place that in there. And then I think it's selling bin monitor. If you wanted to get those, it's pretty cheap from the banker as well. We can place it on top, and you can see it's 5,200 here, but we're getting 6,000. And here you go with that 15%. So we turn from 10,572 to 12,158. So it's very good for just 1 cinnamon log, guys. Since you get 3 of them, it's even better. So basically, times this by 3. So what is that? 36,500 or something for 1 tree. And then if you had that plus 2 thing, well, you times this by 9, right? Which would be like 100 and what is that, 8,000? And you can automate this whole process too. With using the refined thing, you will need a exporter, but you will need also a regulator. And you could just do this, literally just put all the ingredients in there. The water, again, you will have to figure out a better way of refilling it because it will go through it instantly. So that's the only thing you have to be careful of. And underneath, you just go ahead and place that importer. Does not need anything. It will just only take the chai when it's done. Here's how it's going to work, right? I'm going to just grab yourself a bunch of water buckets and I'll just go ahead and show you guys. Throw all this stuff in there and you can see we're at 18 and now it's just slowly going down. And here's the problem, right? It goes in, goes out, goes in, goes out, and we're still at 100%. So figure that out, that solution, and you'll be golden. But you can see the whole process, like it puts everything in there and takes it out. But that is the video. It's a bit short, but again, sorry to Chalky. I really don't mean to constantly do this to you, but I'll see you guys in the next one. And don't forget to subscribe.